Hey, welcome to another episode of the Icarus Idea. Last episode we talked to Koen van Ham, who is storming the automotive industry right now. And this episode we're talking to someone that has already stormed the automotive industry. Also, we're gonna bring back something that we haven't done in a very, very, very long time. So keep listening for the next 3 minutes and you'll find out what it is. As always, leave a like, leave a comment, let us know what you think, let us know if you have any questions. And again, as always, hope you enjoy the episode. Hey, welcome to the Icarus Idea. My name as always is Joris. I'll be your host today, and I'm here with two other people in the late night Thursday recording session. One of them, as always, is Bram. And
Hi.
Bram, can you introduce our guest today?
I can do that, Joris. So
That's cool.
welcome back, everyone. Like Joris said, it's still our car month, and 2 weeks ago we talked to Koen van Ham, who started his own car brand, which is called Lightyear. Well, we were definitely impressed, but it also made us think: how would it be at a big car company, one that maybe produces like 1 million cars annually, and how would that structure be? What can we as IDE'ers do there? So that's why we tried to find one, and we actually did. So we found an IDE'er who studied in Delft and now works as a senior design strategist at the third largest automotive brand in the world, Hyundai. Besides that, he also has a Instagram account called Creative Matters. Follow it. And his name is Jelle Tjebbes. So welcome, Jelle.
Yeah, guys, thanks for having me. Thanks for having
Thanks.
me. Very good to be here.
Alright, yeah, let's just get right into it. We're gonna do something that we haven't done in a long time, because we thought it would be cool. It's the puntje of the month. Puntje of the month, for you listening, it's basically like a show and tell. We used to do it where every one of us would bring something, and it could be anything new, anything exciting, anything interesting, anything boring, whatever you want, and then we'll just discuss it. So, Jelle, you wanted to show and tell something.
Yeah, I was, of course, keeping my eyes and ears open, as always, actually, but looking for something specific this time. And thankfully, LinkedIn was pushing me some news from other people that I know. And it was telling me that Unreal, or Epic Games, actually, is now officially having the early access available for the MetaHuman creator.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if you heard, I think already it was announced in February or so, but now officially you can start to play around with it. So basically it's a browser-based program where you can sort of create your own human in a sort of game-like way, but it's super realistic. I think it was super interesting also to see that how is this changing how we perceive this digital world. And I mean, you can create yourself as a metahuman, and I think already companies start to buy the rights of deceased legends like Michael Jackson and Bruce Lee to maybe even recreate them and let them play again in movies or something like this. And so it's really going into this question of what is your identity, and should you sort of protect your identity in the future, that when you pass away that you say, okay, I don't want to be cloned as a metahuman or something.
Whoa.
And I think on top of that, you know, we're living in this world where everybody is trying to fight for equality and Black Lives Matters and gender neutrality. And then how are these metahumans that already now have these Instagram pages with a couple of million likes and actually making money out of that? This identity question is so much different. It's so surreal that you think, okay, how is society going to handle this if already now we are struggling to give rights to the actual real people?
Like actual people.
That's really something where I thought, okay, it's a big thing. And then on top of that, of course, comes AI. And how is AI going to let these people evolve, these metahumans? And are these metahumans going to create their own Instagram accounts and show us their lives and stuff? And on top of that, of course, the main question on my mind is, what cars are these people going to drive, you know? Are they still going to have wheels? So, I mean,
Can they afford Actual good cars in meta.
Yeah, they're gonna buy a digital car with cryptocurrency. I can see this happen already.
How can we make sure that Hyundai is the biggest meta car manufacturer in 20 years?
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of cars for very low development money that you can create then, I guess.
But let me get this straight. You can like digitize yourself as well? Or do you then have to model yourself? Or can you like scan yourself?
I think there are several ways. I haven't been able to play around with it yet, but I was planning to like do that, I think next week or some. But I think with this MetaHuman creator, I don't know if you can like import yourself into it with a 3D scan. I can imagine actually that in the future you will be able to.
Yeah, you just scan your face and like beep.
Yeah, that it will recognize the eye position and whatever face shape, and then it will just create you.
It doesn't take so much now to create a deepfake of yourself. So I imagine
Exactly,
that in a few
yeah.
years you can just pull your camera around your head and maybe create your own metahuman out of it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
That sounds scary.
yeah.
Real scary.
I guess now there's already a problem that there are like these artificial intelligence persons created that don't exist in real life. And some people use these photos on like fake Twitter accounts to push their agenda. So yeah, if they can actually also talk and walk in a meta world.
Yeah.
But you can of course also use it for nice things.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course, but that isn't really interesting.
Yeah.
That's up to us, industrial
Yeah.
designers, to create the positive effect on it. So
Lesson 1.
yeah,
4 minutes in, let's go.
Yeah, and that's from a company that also created Fortnite.
true.
Going
Yeah.
a few steps ahead.
No, it's not Epic Games that made Meta.
No, okay.
It's
They
Unreal
just
Engine that
released
made
it,
Meta.
right?
Yeah, but Unreal Engine made it, but they are part. I think Epic Games owns Unreal Tournament, and sort of Epic Games is again owned by Tencent, which of course is Chinese. So yeah.
They look really realistic.
I think we should get into the car topic now.
Let's do that.
Okay. Jelle, you've had quite a long and interesting CV built up already. And it starts with 3 internships, then it goes to automotive designer, then back to school, then internship again at Zagato, which is pretty crazy if you ask me personally.
Crazy.
Then automotive designer again, aviation designer, freelance designer, and now you're a senior design strategist at Hyundai. Just to get an idea, what does that mean if you're a design strategist?
Yeah, I think that's actually a very good question, because already in my job, a design strategist is a person that is taking care of aesthetic, form-giving part of the product. What that basically means is that when we are preparing ourselves for a new product launch or a new product development stage, that I sort of collect all the useful insights and to sit together and co-create with our other departments like product marketing and engineering to create the best possible holistic product as a whole for the market. And what I then do from a design perspective is that I prepare, let's say, a design briefing for our designers so that they are informed and understand what they need to give shape, let's say, so that, because the role of an automotive designer is always to give character to the product. And my job is to make it accessible for them, that they understand, okay, what is the character that we need? I'm sort of the lawyer in the early phase of design to make sure that from a design perspective, we are able to create that character.
Right. So, in real short, it's sort of like getting the requirements and demands from every aspect possible and giving that to the designers, and then later on, sort of as a lawyer, defending your design or the design that's made by the designers of your team.
Yeah, well, I think for me it is more in the beginning phase,
Mhm.
because then is where the package gets determined.
Yeah.
And for me, the design briefing is more like the handover to the designers, because I'm not really steering them so much. This directing is more happening on a higher level from the design director, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
But he, of course, agrees with the strategic direction that we picked.
Yeah, true.
He knows what the strategic direction is and what is demanded from the market.
Yeah. So you're the one that figures out what would be the best strategy and then translate that or applies that to, then what does that mean? How should the car then look, so to say, if we want to fit into that strategy?
Yeah, because there's always a brand aspect in that as well, because of course the character of the car is very much determined also by the brand or what you want to achieve with the brand. You always need to deliver a product that is brand relevant. So often also thinking from the brand and starting from the brand creates the best character, because then the whole user experience will be covered. So you think from the brand to even start thinking of new features that can develop from this brand into your product.
Can you come up with complete new features just only based on the brand?
Yeah, for sure.
Don't you need like user desires there, or market trends, or competitors, or something like that? It's just the brand only?
Well, let's say nobody starts with a blank canvas. I think each individual always sees new trends, like I just had with this Puntje of the week.
Mm-hmm.
That is always, you're having your tentacles out and you know what the brand stands for. So if you are brainstorming on new ideas, then yes, you can start from the brand thinking, okay, in this sort of segment of cars, what would really be a nice idea? And of course, sometimes it's good to think of what the user would want, but in that sense, it's more incremental innovation. You are thinking of what is the use case of people maybe nowadays. If you start already from what current behavior of humans is, then you will just do incremental innovation because you're just going to improve the current user experience. What you should be doing, and I think maybe that's what you're referring to, is to look into the future and try to predict in a way, and there's methodologies to do that. How would human behavior change in the future? And from that we design.
Yeah. So you look at the trends, sort of predict the future, which I presume looking at trends is one method. And then you have a look, okay, if we see this trend in 20 years developing, then how does Hyundai stay relevant for people in that scenario?
Yeah, and what would then be the brand message that we want to send out? Yeah.
What would be our character? What would be the products that we put out? And that you give to the, let's say, the design directors or the car designers, so to say.
Yeah. But of course, they are also already involved in these early phases to brainstorm about these things, and so you always need to take all your stakeholders into account with your journey. Otherwise, they're just going to say, this guy is just giving us a document, and then okay, bye bye. It's that kind of this is not how it should be. You always need to co-create together.
Yeah.
Nice. It sounds quite interesting though.
Yeah.
I see how it's different from a strategic designer now.
Yeah. And also from a completely standard industrial designer. Because I guess if you think about industrial designers doing car design, it's mostly just drawing all day and making shapes out of clay, sort of like that. The stereotype.
Yeah.
Stereotype. Yeah.
We looked at your profile and everything. That's something that you're good in as well. The actual drawing of a car. Did you apply that in other? No, you maybe not apply it in this job, but did you do it before? Like on Zagato or something?
Well, yeah, I think that's when it comes to sort of my history of how did I get into this job as well. Because of course, when you are a little kid, and I was just drawing cars the whole time. I think for me then it was easy that I already knew what I was wanting to do in the future. And then of course you start to draw cars. And I think it is also, as a design strategist, it is important to understand aesthetics, because then you understand as well as a lawyer what to fight for and why you want to argue. Yeah, I think that through design, and I think through my career, I realized that I was more interested into going into more the strategic direction than really just continuously sketching every day.
You told me last week that there was a point, I think during your freelance period, that you decided, okay, I'm gonna get good at sketching cars now. And then you started working on your portfolio, right?
Yeah, I think, well, if you really want to go into car design, you never really stop making your portfolio, especially as a student. I think in my first studies, which I did in Venlo, I also did industrial product ontwerpen. They still have the Dutch word. It was mechanical engineering, and I was one of the first that really did that. And you already start to create your portfolio there. And still you, of course, want to draw cars somehow, but you learn also other things. In the course of that 4 years, I did some internships, of course. I did an internship at an industrial design agency. After that, I really started to look for, okay, what would then be my next step into automotive. And that's how I came to this Dutch agency, DVEDEC, where I really could do this graduation to design a autonomous car. And that was really my first encounter with automotive design. And there I really realized that, okay, I want to really go for it. Although maybe the first time that I was there, I was just still doubting. That's probably why I did another year to complete the mechanical engineering. And after that, I worked for 2 years at DVEDEC. And there I could do some design work, but it was also a lot of engineering work. And I thought, okay, if I really want to be a designer, then I really need to go back to school again. And that's when I decided to go to Delft. And you have to keep updating your portfolio because, at some point I need to apply for an internship. So I think for all those years, I never had any summer holidays because I was just full throttle making my portfolio. So you really need to commit in this world because there's so few spots in the car design industry that you really need to just go full throttle. Otherwise, you're not gonna make it. Yeah.
So a good tip for everyone is just keep maintaining your portfolio.
Definitely.
And what did you fill it with? Just some projects that you did for like EDAG and Zagato, or just for things that you did for yourself?
Well, I think the best thing that you can do, and then of course, when you do internships and you have a good result of that, it's always useful. And I think that is also the way that art schools a lot of times create their portfolio with a lot of internship projects. But also, maybe the universities are not so happy that I'm going to say this, but I realized that after I had 2 years of work experience, you perceive university so much different because you really think, okay, I want to achieve this, and how am I going to achieve this? Is this course that I need to take, is it really relevant for me? Or should I just get a 6 and just focus on this design competition on the side? So that's what I really started doing. So I started to do, okay, how can I develop my skill level and my knowledge level to such a level that I'm able to go to an internship? But still, after my graduation, I completely redid my whole portfolio because my skills got significantly better during my graduation. That I thought, okay, but now I cannot use the other projects anymore, so I just need to redo everything.
Yeah.
We talked about this last week already as well, and I think it's quite interesting to hear now again that you said that internships are very important. At some point, you realized, wait, I need to focus more on what's important for me. You become more economical about stuff. Like, why am I taking this course? Why am I taking that course? What do I want to focus on? What is important for me personally?
Yeah.
Where do I want to develop myself? And you said that an internship can have a strong influence on developing yourself as opposed to, let's say, doing courses just for the sake of doing courses.
Yeah, definitely. I think what I miss a lot in really university education is that you do these 3 years of bachelor and then you have 2 years of master. And what I see happening a lot is that everybody's racing to just get these 5 years done. And then they say, okay, now I have my diploma, now I can go to work. And I think that is such a shame and such a loss of development of yourself, because I think that this school time or this university time is such a valuable time for you to develop yourself, to make friends that are like-minded, to discuss with other people. There's such an incredible value there that you will gain for the rest of your life, that you need to take maximum advantage of that time. But I think the key thing is that also during internships, you learn what you don't want and you learn what you want.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times it's even more important to learn what you don't want than to see, oh yeah, see, I already knew this is what I wanted to do. There's such a value in doing an internship and even doing an internship abroad, because you really need to move. You need to move from your house, move from your friends, and go redevelop yourself in another country. That's also when you personally develop yourself to understand life, and I think always when you understand life a bit better and what life means to you, and then it's far easier to do that while you are studying than when you have the pressure of needing to pay for your house, or for you cannot really explore so much anymore. Yeah.
And it also maybe makes the step between studying and actually working a little bit less scary, maybe.
Definitely.
Because now,
yeah, definitely.
I think about graduation. It seems like such a big step to finally use all that knowledge that you built up in the last few years and to put into use. And I guess if more internships were available during our time as a student, that you maybe know better how to use all that knowledge.
Yeah.
I think it brings you to a point where you're like, yeah, okay, I know that I like to do this, and then I'll go do it.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I mean with it. It really connects to your purpose in life and what you want to achieve and why you get out of bed in the morning, you know? That's what they say.
Yeah. We talked to Koers van Menswoord about that. What was it called again, the Japanese thing?
Check.
Yeah, it's Ikigai. The reason for being.
Yeah.
Yeah. Japanese concept referring to having a direction or purpose in life.
Yeah.
Wikipedia, sorry.
Yeah, but it's all good. I think that's also the key reason. I think we see so many young people having burnouts. It's because they just ran through their studies and they think, yeah, now I'm gonna be the next Mark Zuckerberg and I'm gonna do my own company and whatever. Yes, maybe, but there's so much more to developing yourself than just having this dream.
You've been a freelancer for like 2 years. At what moment did you think like, now I want to work for a company again? And then a big ones, such as Hyundai.
Well, to be honest, I was applying for car companies these complete 2 years. This 2 years as a freelancer, I was building my portfolio.
It was just sort of as a stepping stone.
It was, to keep the finance going. And I had some quite some fun jobs. And also the job that I had in London at Winch Design was a super fun job where I was 7 months designing for super yachts and private aviation. Totally different world, but you learn from that. It's also cool to say, you know, I've worked on private jets and I did the interior and these kind of things. So.
Just beside cars, private jets as well.
It triggered us as well. Or it triggered Bram yesterday when we were like, oh shit, he designed airplanes? Hell damn.
And yachts, right?
Yeah, both.
Yeah, of course, as a freelancer, you do a bit of everything because they just grab you for everything. Yeah, Jelle, can you do a bit of this and can you do a bit of that? So, yeah.
But in the whole time, you were just also applying to car companies as well.
Yeah, this was always in the back of my head. When I was there, I was fully committed to that job. But in the evening hours, I was thinking, okay, maybe I should keep my eyes and ears open for positions. And then when you see an opening, then you apply to it. And I think during that 2 years, I think I applied at 50 companies or something like this. You see that 99% you get the sack. So
yeah. Isn't that completely emotional draining? Just putting out resumes the whole time and then getting no back?
But you also know that you have some value. And I think eventually I also learned that my value is more in strategy. And I think that's also why I applied for that job, because during my time at Winch, where, to be honest, there's not super much strategy in those products because you just have one client and you design for that guy or girl, and she says, okay, I have my hotel room that I was in Paris. I really like that interior. Can you do the same for my airplane? That's why I realized, okay, this is maybe a bit superficial in a way.
Yeah.
It's fun to do for a couple of months, but then after you think, okay, do I still want to do that? And maybe something more strategic is a lot more interesting. There's so much more knowledge and skills at the same time. So I think that's, really interesting.
Yeah, I was kind of curious. We looked at the Zagato website. Listener, if you don't know it, Zagato, they basically make Ferraris and Aston Martins. They take off the outside. They design a brand new outside, custom for you, and then they put that on. But they're so good at that they're one of the few companies, or the only company, that then Ferrari still says, okay, you can still call this a Ferrari.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah. Zagato was always a bit more the exclusive coach builder, but they had a good relationship with Ferrari. Ferrari actually mainly had their cars done by Pininfarina. Then, indeed, if you are a rich guy and you own a Ferrari and your neighbor owns a Ferrari and you don't want to be seen together with the same Ferrari, then
No.
then you can go to Zagato and say, okay, hey, can you make me a custom body?
What did you do specifically there?
Well, we were still sort of defining what the graduation subject would be, because I think for a graduation subject, you really need to take care of that the company is interested in it. They have a history of doing these very exclusive sports cars, but also doing electric small microcars for the city.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be so that the owner of Zagato is married to an heir of the guy that created Iso Rivolta. They gave me the assignment to say, okay, maybe you can design a new Iso Isetta.
Well, I have to say, you've said a lot, and I feel like you can hear the... Yeah, it sounds a bit cheesy. You can hear the books you've read. But you said, I've spent a lot of hours working on this apart from my job. But you can hear that. There's like a lot of knowledge, and it's very structured. At least you appear to convey it very structured to me.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
think to Bram as well.
I hope that helps, at least. I don't know.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's maybe the effect that COVID had on me, is that I started to read more books and really on innovation and these kind of things. And probably everybody knows Simon Sinek and Start With Why and these kind of things. So I think those are very interesting books. And yeah, there's so many interesting books. You constantly, when you think, I finished this book and now sort of my stack disappears, somehow I always tend to read 2 books and then buy 5 books and then read 2 books and buy 5 books. So it keeps it keeps stacking up. I need to sort of reverse that equation.
Well, why? A nice bookshelf is really cool.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I heard you're a senior design strategist at Hyundai. I think you can afford the books, so you should be fine for now.
Yeah, I think I might buy them on company payment.
Yeah.
On over hours,
Yeah.
right?
Right. So which book would you recommend right now for the listeners?
Which book would I recommend? Well, I think what would be a good one, actually one of the last ones I read was Overcrowded by Roberto Verganti. He has actually 2 books which are both worth reading, because he's actually coming from the field of economics, and he's writing about design-driven innovation, where I think, this guy has, as a non-designer, he's writing about design. So that's actually pretty interesting, because he's just approaching it from a different angle, which is very useful.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Overcrowded by Roberto Verganti.
Roberto Verganti.
Roberto Verganti. Alright. So apart from the book tip, classic final question that we always ask. What would be your advice to me, to Bram, to every industrial design engineering student that is now listening?
I would say realize that design is a massively broad term, especially nowadays. It's increasing more and more. So please do your own research that fits you best into how can you connect your purpose to what you want to do as a designer, and what specific topic do you want to design for. Probably you need to do some internships there, but that's for you to decide.
So, doing internships, update your portfolio, use your network.
That's a side note.
Yeah. All those things combined.
Yeah.
That's like the practical application.
True. All right. So once again, follow Creative Matters at Instagram. Jelle, thanks for talking to us. I guess we
You're
learned a
welcome.
lot.
Thanks for the insights.
Everyone listening, let us know what you learned today. Send it to the end.
It was great to be here, guys. Thanks.
Thanks for the time.
Yeah.
Thanks for the insights. I think I found some consistency in what we talked about, so I really like that.
You're welcome. If anybody has questions, then just contact me on LinkedIn and we can discuss it, of course. No problem.
Jelle Tjebbes, thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Yes. Ciao, ciao.